Bonjour mes jolies! Hello my lovelies! This is video number 2 about the QOR Trio Sampler, and it's all going to be about red flowers. In the previous video, I shared some flowers I did with this Trio Sampler and this mini palette, where I did all these flowers in the last video, but today we're doing the red flowers, including poppies, daylilies, and some trumpet mystery flowers. I enjoyed that trio so much, I decided to give a brand new sampler away to one of my Canadian viewers, so look for the details about that giveaway at the very end of the video. And because I actually really fell in love with Baohong professional watercolor paper, I'm also giving away this Baohong professional watercolor paper cold press paper block. Get to the end of this video to see the details of the giveaway. All right. If you're good and haven't skipped all the way to the end to the giveaway, let's go back to the video. Alright, so this second part, if you watched that first video, you know we left off on the fact that I wasn't sure whether the Trio Sampler would handle very well red flowers. And my concern was, even though magenta is a lovely color, could it neutralize enough into our fairly neutral red, or would it only give me very warm reds? Ultimately, it actually did give me some really good reds. So let me turn around and show you what we've done, and then we're going into some plein air sessions where I did those flowers. I hope you enjoy plein air because that's the footage coming up. So if you remember, this was the mini sketchbook we filled out in the previous video. When I went back to the botanical garden, my focus was red flowers. A daylily, and this one was more of a rusty red. And then I thought maybe it wouldn't handle a more of a neutral type of red or a warm, like fire engine red. And it did. These are poppies. I'm going to show you how I painted the poppies. And then I did these, which were orange and yellow. I don't know what type of flowers they are. I need to look them up. But if anybody knows, please share, please tell me. So the mystery trumpet flower. So if this is your preferred one, definitely tell me and put trumpet flower unless you know the real name of this flower. So daylily, poppy, mysterious trumpet. Alright, let's go into the video and the footage of doing these flowers plein air. And in case you didn't notice, yes, the QOR Trio can definitely handle red flowers. Alright, take care. Ciao! It is one of my favorite benches, so it's gonna be fun. So I said I needed to do a few red flowers, but I'm not big on roses, and the peonies are gone, but the lilies are out. There's quite a few orange, there's quite a few yellow, but there's a few red. So I'm very excited. I'm doing some lilies. I have some very fiery lilies behind me. I need to check what the name is, so I'll put in a video of like what the name of that flower is. The daylilies are here. So daylilies, this one that I were doing today is the regular. What a weird name. I always forget what they're called in French. It's émeraucaille. Émeraucaille for daylily. So let's see what I can do. Ciao! Sometimes I sketch in details. Sometimes the sketch really is about something else. It's, in this case, about the proportions. I wanted to get the proportions of the petals correctly, and also the lines for the veins, so I wouldn't forget how they went. When I paint a flower that has yellow, whether it's a buttery light yellow to a more intense yellow, I always start with the yellow because I want that color to be as clean as possible. First layers are always tricky. I never go very intense. It's my opportunity to stain the paper, and it gives me an undertone for the following layers. So in this case, I still wanted to keep the flower a warmer shade, so I did choose a very light orange to stain the paper. I don't know about you, but it was stressful rewatching the footage, wondering if that drop was going to spill. When a painting is going well, my second layer usually is about intensifying the color and already adding some of the details. I obviously tackle one petal at a time, and each one is done slightly differently, even though there's a base wash on top of which I put intensive color, sometimes in lines, and in this case, more of stronger washes so I can see the peaks and valleys. This is me preparing a lot of paint for the washes to come. These three last petals feel secondary to the first three, and they follow very similar patterns. So after being done with one, I basically repeated a similar process with the other two. What I focused on for this daylily were one, the proportions of the petals, two, the veins of the petals, which are parallel, and three, how wrinkled those petals were because some of them were getting a little dry. After the second wash, you need to reassess the values, and in this case, I obviously needed to accentuate some of the yellow by deepening it. I sometimes wish I did bring masking fluid because doing the stamen and the pistil that are light colored on a darker flower can be tricky. I debated whether to do the wrinkles, but I really wanted to, so I came up with this weird circle pattern, wavy pattern, to try and convey wrinkles. Unsure if it worked, but I kind of like it. I was about to leave the flower as is when I thought, let me just try and put some of the leaves that actually look a little like long grass. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, I'm glad I had time to come and do this. And one thing, I don't know if you noticed, but at the very end, some water from the dirty container fell onto my painting. It was very clear, very light green, so I ended up just putting it all over the painting as a background. So it's not actually white in the background, it's off-white because it's a very, very, very light shade of green. That's a trick I have when I'm doing plein air and a mistake like that happens. I just swatch all over it. I hope you enjoyed the red lily this time. Next time I think I'm gonna come and do some of the poppies, even though I don't think I can get the right poppy red with that trio. Still worth trying. Poppies! So definitely I'm coming in tomorrow or the day after, or the next few days. I'm gonna come and try to paint some poppies, and we will see if I can pull off some of these reds with the trio. I like that. A deep dive into the trio. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I need to go home. Ciao. Hello, beautiful people. Bonjour, mes chéris. It's raining this morning. I hope it's not gonna rain for the rest of the day. I'm going back a couple of days later to the botanical garden to see if I can paint a few red flowers. I really want to do a few poppies. We'll see if it's doable. At some point, I'm probably gonna come back here and try to paint some of the trellis with the flowers there. So definitely I'm gonna try and come and do these later on. But there's a ton of kids from camp coming right now, so I'm gonna disappear, or it's gonna be quieter, even though they might catch up with me. We're doing poppies today. Woo. Woo. So the trick here is to find a spot in the shade to paint these from afar. From this bench, there's just gonna be impressions of poppies. All right, so I did a quick drawing, like very quickly, from afar, of what I saw of this flower and what I saw of this one, and a couple of those middle sections. Not sure what these are called. From afar, I don't see the details. This is what I see with my eyes. This is as big as I can see it with my actual eyes from where I'm sitting. And the main reason I'm sitting is because I am in the shade. The trick here really was how to keep the beat going and going and going and going and going on some more, because I wanted as even a wash as I could get, considering how hot and how quickly the paint was drying on me. More of the same in a lighter shade. I mistakenly stained the top part, so I ended up adding a random poppy. I treated the greens as background. I really didn't want to focus on them, so I just went very loose, and I ended up adding more later at the end. This is the first wash, and the green is still drying. The flowers themselves are dry, and I hope the flower will hold, because basically there's wind and there was a flower behind it and it lost its petals, and now this one has moved and is no longer looking the same. It's that one in the middle, so you can see how it moves, and I might lose the petals, so I definitely need to get on it. This part is tricky. You need to plan ahead in your head how you're gonna attack the poppy. The petals overlap. You want to do them one at a time, but not one touching each other. And in my case, I wanted to also do the details as I went as much as possible, even though I would come back probably the third layer to add more details. This is the main poppy. This is the reason I'm painting poppies. I want to get the red intense. So building up the color while adding details. After the last petal got the intense red and most of it had dried, I went back for final details, which are directional strokes to show the peaks and valleys of the petals. Since I hadn't planned for this particular poppy, I decided to make it a deeper shade of burgundy by adding blue to my mix. At this point, I actually got up and got closer to the flower so I could actually look at the seed pod and the stamen so I could represent them correctly. Yep, you can get some beautiful reds. I almost never do this, but I'm taking the mini train. So that's the little train. I never take it. I usually walk all over the place, but it's so hot. I just wanted to do a tour. It takes about 25 minutes to do the whole tour, and it only has like 5 stops on the way. And honestly, it's fun. That was the minibus. I'm gonna go and try and find a spot so I can paint, and people are sitting in my spot, so I need to wait for them to vacate. So this is called a trumpet creeper, so I painted trumpet creepers. So funny. I'm at the spot where I said I was going to be, and I'm gonna try and paint that. So we're doing orange and yellow, warm yellow today. This time around, I didn't want to waste too much time with too many details in the sketch, and I wanted my sketch to be very loose and just be focused on the composition so I could fit both flowers together somehow. In part because I knew I was going to go with very loose flowers, I thought starting with the background would be a good idea because I really wanted all the greens that were surrounding these flowers. This is basically negative painting, and the trick here is to keep as much of the spot clear so the flowers can go in with clean color, but also to vary the greens in the background. This is when having ultramarine, which gives you texture and granulation, really comes in handy. I'm a true proponent of starting with yellow when I have yellow details. In this case, it came in second, but when it comes to the actual flower painting, yellow. Yellow first, before the orange, before the red, yellow. What you might not see here is how I vary the yellows, the oranges, the reds as I go along, because I just figure out what color works by adding and subtracting some of the yellow and the magenta. I admit, as I was doing this, I keep wondering to myself, how am I going to make this look like an actual flower? It just looks so weird. I like to think of this as 1.5 layer because I'm just intensifying what's there without really going into details. I don't know. Am I completely off by saying this is layer 1.5? The first layer has gone in. I tried to go very loose. I barely sketched in the big compositions and shape. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I really like seeing the graphite under the watercolor. I really do enjoy it sometimes. And this is a case where I hope I get to still see some of the sketchiness under. Makes me want to sketch more on top, but I won't. This is when the flowers start to look like flowers because the petals get definition. I couldn't really see the details of these flower buds, so I just pretended I knew what I was doing. When it came to the waist of the bell, I also didn't really see these lines, but I just assumed there should be. I keep forgetting, and I sometimes surprise myself by the fact that I really should just trust the process. Things always look weird, unfinished, ugly, but after the first layer, the second with the accents, the details, instead of trying to paint and draw only what I think should be there, but also just observing and then putting things that I see, things start shaping up. Things start looking like actual flowers. The last step for this painting is the foliage. The leaves are very coarse and almost spiky. I'm adding the final pods or stems. I'm unsure exactly what it is. Truth is, I wasn't able to see all the details from afar, but I am loving the colors. Alright, so now what are the rules for the giveaway? Reminder, I am giving away a brand new QOR sampler, a Baohong cold press watercolor block. I will give you a tin so you can make your own mini palette. I will give you some magnets so you can magnetize the pans. I will give you a couple of magnet clips because these are so useful for plein air. I basically clip them and then put my palette, and I have a metal container for water for the second one. And I might add a couple of other things if they fit in the container. So, rules for the giveaway. You need to be in Canada. You need to follow me on Instagram. You need to follow me on YouTube because I will contact you through Instagram if you're the winner. You need to, in this video or the previous QOR sampler video, put in one in your comment contest, the name of the flower painting you preferred from either of the two videos, and your Instagram handle so I can contact you through Instagram if you end up being the winner. The giveaway draw will be on July 14, that's Sunday, July 14, around noon time, Canadian time, Easter time, Montreal time. So by the 13th, I suggest you enter your comment so you can get a chance to win this giveaway. Good luck. I personally really, truly, very much enjoyed painting with these colors. And my biggest concern was whether I would be able to handle reds. And obviously, you can see 3 very different types of reds, a rusty red, or orangey red, and a very poppy red. And it handled all of them beautifully. So I would definitely say this is a really good sampler you should probably try out. And I'm giving one away to a Canadian viewer because for some reason on Jackson's the pricing for this is much higher than it is for the States, UK. So but I got mine at a very low price at the very beginning before the prices went up. So I have quite a few and I decided let's give one away to a lucky viewer because these paints really are worth the try. And the Baohong paper is another one that in the past year I've fallen in love with, and that's why I'm also giving one of those away. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Ciao.